who has been wrongly accused of murder for centuries, even after his death. Well, today I want to tell you about an Italian composer by the name of Antonio Salieri. Salieri was born in 1750 in a small town near Verona, which is northern Italy. He grew up in a relatively wealthy family. His father was a merchant, and he was surrounded by music. At a young age, he started playing violin, and then he started playing harpsichord. Now, as many of the composers I've talked about, he did show a lot of talent and it was doing fine. But then in his young teens, both of his parents died and he was left orphaned. But he was a good kid and people loved him, and some local patrons took him under their wing and they took him to Venice. Now, Venice was one of the big musical places to be in Europe at the time. While there in Venice, he caught the attention of another composer by the name of Florian Gassmann. He was actually a court composer from Vienna, which was an even bigger deal than Venice. And he took him with him to Vienna, and he took him under his wing, and he actually kind of became like his second dad. While there, he was studying music. He learned composition. He learned all about counterpoint. He learned different languages. Now he's in Germany, and he learned a lot of tools that he took with him, and it prepared him for a lifelong musical career in the Habsburg court. 1760s and 1770s, Vienna was really the heartbeat of the cultural heart of the Habsburg Empire, and it drew composers from all over Europe, the very best of the best, and that's right where he was. He entered this as a young immigrant from Italy, but he quickly demonstrated his skills, and he wrote his first opera, and then he wrote another opera, and they were beautiful and they were very well received. The empress at the time was Maria Theresa, and she really admired this guy. Now, Mr. Gassmann was getting older and feeble, and he was weakened, and this young Salieri stepped in and just took on more and more responsibilities. It was a very gradual thing, but by the time he was only 24, he was named the Royal Court Composer. Big deal. Over the next several decades, he really became one of the most prominent opera voices in Vienna. And he was very good because he could write in German, he could write in Italian, he could write in French, and he also had all the different musical styles from all those different places, and he would mix them up, and people loved it. Mozart heard it and was very impressed and really liked it. Mozart was still a little kid at this time, and it influenced his own music, Mozart's music. In the late 18th century, 1780s, 1790s, he wasn't just a composer at the court anymore. He was actually like a statesman. He was a musical statesman, and he would go around and supervise singers and shaping opera houses all over. He was advising on productions throughout all of Europe. And the operas that we know, he influenced a lot of them. Now let's address this big elephant in the room of him murdering poor Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. There is no proof of this. They were rivals somewhat, but not really the way that we saw. And we saw the movie Amadeus, and it's a lovely movie, but this is fictional. There was some gossip that started way back then, but it is fictional. In reality, their relationship was complicated, perhaps, but it was very professional. And the complications came that they were both working for the same courts, and they were both vying for the same jobs. And there was a competition, but it was a healthy competition. And actually, they even worked together on at least one cantata, but maybe even more. And also, when we look at their own words, at their own writings, they had deep respect, musical respect for one another. They publicly even praised each other's music, and Mozart trusted Salieri enough that he was teaching his son after his death. So I know that it would be kind of cool to have this murder back in the musical history, but this one is not true. What is true, though, is that he was a teacher to many and many of the greats. He taught Ludwig van Beethoven for a little bit. He taught Franz Schubert. He taught Franz Liszt. He taught Meyerbeer, I've talked about. He taught Hummel. He taught many of the greats. But Beethoven in particular, he studied vocal composition with him for years, and he spoke very highly of Salieri. 1788, he was appointed Hofkapellmeister. Guys, this is not just like being the major composer of one entity, one place. No, he was in charge of all the courts music. The courts there all over the Habsburg monarchy. That's a big responsibility. He held this position for 36 years. So he managed all the church music. He supervised the opera productions. He trained the singers. He helped shape all the soundscape of Imperial Vienna. Doesn't mean he composed everything. That was way too much. But he supervised all the composers and all the productions and everything. What's a little bit sad is that in the movie, he is shown as this kind of vindictive guy, but he wasn't. He was known to be very kind. He was known for his fairness. He was very professional, and he had a deep loyalty to music and to Habsburg. And there's this time of great division and upheaval politically. There's a French Revolution. We have the Napoleonic Wars. But during all of that craziness, Salieri, helped to maintain the Vienna's cultural reputation, which is phenomenal. After 1804, he decreases his composition. He's not composing as much. He is focusing a lot on teaching and helping the next generation come along. Remember, people pulled him under their wing to help him along, and he was doing the same thing for the next one, and he was fulfilling all his court duties, which took a lot of time. And in his final years, this is really sad, these rumors that he somehow poisoned Mozart, because the rumor started then, that started circulating. And now his friends all defended him, and even not friends, like people that just knew him. Everyone's like, there is no way this did not happen. But that hurt him deeply, that anyone could even think that about him. When he was 74 years old in 1825, he was still in Vienna, and he died. His funeral was a big deal, and many of his former students, who were very well-known musicians and composers at their time, came and they paid respects to him. So we know Salieri as the guy that killed Mozart. No, he was a phenomenal composer, known for his operas, known for educating and bringing up a whole another generation of phenomenal musicians. So go ahead and listen to some Salieri.